Welcome to another episode of Footy with Truly. I'm your host, Truly. I'm here today with almost a full cast. I have Skip back from wherever he went from. went to. I have Adosa. I have the ever-present Aminu. I also have Kachi back from wherever he came from. And today we're going to discuss about the season and what a roller coaster season we're having. And we want to discuss whether it's a special season because of all the amazing things we're seeing, or whether it's a weak season. When I say weak season, I mean teams underperforming in general. And as a result, crazy things are happening, like Arsenal being on top of the table, Haaland almost scoring 50 goals this season. It's just crazy. So I'm going to start with the person on the fence. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, it's a little difficult for me to make up my mind on what kind of, season we're having, if it's special or if, it's a weak season because I still want to give credit to what Arsenal is doing and City. They're still on course to to get over 90 points. Whoever wins the Premier League title eventually will have over 90 points, and you can only beat who is in front of you. So credit to Arsenal on that front. On the other hand, it's like I don't know the last time I've seen such a crazy like relegation battle where anyone from 12 to 20 could get relegated. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about um, goal difference at this point might be the saving grace
Mm-hmm.
for teams at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and then the void left by Liverpool and dearly departed Chelsea, that has been filled by Brighton, Brentford, and Fulham to a certain extent,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously um, not on the same level as those teams are usually um, not at the same level that those teams usually reach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even Manchester United and Newcastle that are battling out for the top four,
Mm-hmm.
even the top four race is another race that could go down to the last day of the season. Liverpool could come all the way from behind to overtake Newcastle and Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Man U still makes it. So it's kind of a weird season where so many things are going on that that's why I'm just like I have to sit on the fence. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know the last time we've seen this much activity. So, in a way, some people might consider that special in its way. The manager carousel that's been going on. And in terms of, what Arsenal is doing, I don't know the last time a team that's not in the Champions League won the league. I
Leicester,
think
probably?
maybe Leicester.
Yeah.
Leicester is as far back as I can remember, but even then, that was a weird season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I want to say no.
Blackburn?
Chelsea was in the top
Blackburn?
four
Maybe when
before.
Blackburn went into the 90s? Maybe down to the 20s.
Mourinho's first season. Were they in the top four the season before?
I
No, he won it in his second season.
No, he won it
Okay,
in his
never mind. I
first.
think
No. He won it in his first.
no.
Arsenal won it the season
Or
before.
Chelsea?
Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the Champions League. Yeah, we know one
Yeah.
first.
Okay. Yeah. So I can't remember the
Blackburn,
last time a
probably.
team. I
90s.
can't remember that far, but yeah, Leicester is probably the only team that I can think of that won it without being in the Champions League. So
Mm-hmm.
um, do with that what you will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, I'm pretty much on the fence on this one.
Let me come at you
Champions
before.
League or European football? Because Conte team first season when he won the Premier League, I don't.
I don't
Chelsea were
think they
not.
were in the Champions League. They were in Champions
Yeah,
League.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. That's another one.
Okay.
Before I go to catch you on this, I'm going to hit you with some facts of the season so far. With all the, I can't think of a better word, so I might just swear now. With all the shit talking we've done to Spurs this season, these guys are still top five. That shows you how bad everybody is this season. Look at Chelsea. No words. You don't. I don't have to say much more than that. Look at Chelsea. Liverpool. Before they scored 6 today, these guys, their goal difference was what? 15? 14? And that 15-14 goal difference is from the 7 they gave Man U and the 9 they gave Bournemouth. Where's the rest of their goals throughout this season? These guys were so low. The people challenging on top of them were Fulham and Brentford. Right now, they are both Fulham and Brentford. Aston Villa came from nowhere. Look at where they are now. like you said, 12th to 20th, anybody from there can get relegated. All the managers that have gotten fired this season, we have 12 new managers throughout the course of this season from 20 teams. Chelsea holding 3 of that. Like, what is happening this season? I think because of the craziness and I know Edosa is going to come at me with metrics and numbers because I feel that even proves my point even more. You're doing so well because the teams are bad. You're playing bad teams, so you have better numbers against the teams that are bad. It only makes sense. Man U is third with a goal difference of 7. What is happening here? It doesn't make any sense. Talk of the Champions League as well. There's nobody challenging City. Let's be real. We can hope that Real Madrid stops them. But aside from that, what in God's name is AC Milan and Inter Milan doing in the quarterfinals of the Champions League? What are they doing there? These are the things I'm looking at. I'm like, this season I think it's a very weak season. Arsenal should swipe this opportunity they have to win this Champions League because I don't think they're going to get a chance like this again. Kachi.
I mean, I think if you remember what I said at the beginning of the season, that we're always going to have a weird season. And I think I remember saying we're going to have a first-time winner. Arsenal are pretty much like first-time winners, this being their first time in, 19, 20 years? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the last time, like an Arsenal fan, like has to be in their 20s or 30s to have remembered them last winning the league. So I think for me, it's a weaker season, number one, because the traditional big boys are not there. So, like the Chelseas and the Liverpools, they are not in contention. Liverpools, you could have predicted that because that team needed to be refreshed. They let Mane go and a few other things as well. And Chelsea and Liverpool, if you remember, they went to the finals of what? 3. I think they went to the
Carabao,
2 of the
Carabao Cup and FA Cup last season. Yep.
Exactly, and then Chelsea went as far as quarterfinal of the Champions League. So I think last season, Chelsea and Liverpool probably played the most number of games out of every other team. So fatigue comes into play as well. Obviously, with Chelsea, they couldn't have predicted that this season the whole Ukraine war would start. Abramovich would be forced to sell the club. And if you had told Chelsea fans what would happen this season, right, they would have told you that it's a lie, that you're just having a dream, right? Because clearly it's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing that would happen to any other club, right? So, but I think it's definitely a weaker season because you have teams like Brighton, you have teams like Fulham who should not even be anywhere near those top sides. And by having a Winter World Cup inadvertently made this season weaker, right? Especially the Premier League. And the reason I say that is because Premier League didn't, in terms of rest, all the other leagues gave their teams rest. All the other leagues gave their teams relative rest in comparison to the Premier League. So Premier League teams are having to go. Which
guys were back 3 days later for the Carabao Cup competition. Liverpool versus Man City. They're back on Tuesday.
Exactly. And the people those that will always favor is Man City because Man City has literally 22 players that are first team players. Let's be honest. There are 22 players that are pretty much first team players. So I think for me it's a weaker season. I think Arsenal, this is their chance to take this league title. Because next season Chelsea is not gonna. I guarantee you Chelsea will not be this poor next season. I guarantee you Liverpool will not be this poor next season. I guarantee you Man U will not be this poor next season. I also guarantee you that Newcastle with their Saudi owner and sugar daddy money, they're not gonna be poor next season. So next season is gonna be even more competitive, right? And we're gonna be back to the regular format of the league starting when it should start and everything. So I think for me it's a weaker season with all the managerial firings. But it's also been an interesting season because it's almost like I told you guys, it's almost been like 2 seasons in one. Like September to December has almost been like 1 season, and then we're like in the second half of the season. For me in general, definitely a weaker season. The stronger season for my team, Man U, because I think we're 8 points. No, I think we're 11 points better than we were at this point last season in terms of the top 4 race. So, but yeah, and I expect some big guys that have been in the Premier League for a while to go down this year as well. So, yeah.
Keep in mind with it. So, do you think, keep in mind with that next season, I just wanted to add to what you're saying about next season, possibly Liverpool and Chelsea won't have European football to play. So, they'll be all in on the Premier League. And I want to ask this question to Skip, so Skip and talk on this one before it just goes. Do you believe that with everything we're saying, that is why Haaland is scoring so many goals? Or do you think he's going to repeat this next season?
No, Haaland is just a fantastic player. He's just a fantastic striker.
Yo,
I
I've
don't
seen
think this
fantastic
has
players, man.
anything.
This is not normal. This guy is
Like
clocking
again,
50 goals.
yeah, like but he's still a good player. So like it's not as if he's doing it in Prem. He's also scoring in Champions League, when he's playing those teams. So he's just a good player in general. Like, and for me personally, I don't think like okay, so two things can be right at the same time.
Mhm.
So we have like two good teams, and we have like eight average team. Then the rest are stray. So like I think that's how this season is like balanced out. Like we have like two good team, eight average team, then the rest garbage. So and that's how this season is looking. So like personally, what I would consider a strong season is three teams fighting for like going head to head for like to like at least to the last 6 games, going to like fighting for the league, but like that hasn't happened in a while. Also, if we're
Mhm.
looking at it, so like, are we going to consider like the rest of that Liverpool City fighting for? Are we going to consider it a weak season? So like, two things can be right at the same time. That's just my argument. Like, we can look at it that we have two strong team, eight average team, the rest 10 horrible. So like that's just this season. And Alan is to answer your question again. Alan is he is just a beast. He will still score. He will keep scoring. And yeah,
Okay. Edosa, what's your take on this?
So I think that this is the most competitive season that we've had in the EPL for a very long time. And let me explain. So if it's about, there's only two teams fighting for the league, ever since Wenger came into the league, there's literally been only two teams fighting to the league at any point. If it wasn't Arsenal and Man U, it was Man U and Chelsea, and then when City started spending money, it was City and Man U, then to City and Chelsea, then to City and Liverpool. At no point has there been any three teams fighting for the league in some of you are older than us, but like the rest of us in our 30s, for majority of our life, it's only been two teams fighting for the league. That said, if you look at what happened last season and what's happening this season, at this point last season, Liverpool has 72 points. Chelsea has 60 points. This season, Liverpool has 47 points. Chelsea has 39 points. They're like, okay, so they've dropped points, so obviously they're bad. But that's only like a 46 point swing.
That's a huge
right?
swing, bro.
But then if you look,
That's a huge
what?
swing.
Wait,
Okay, go.
you think it's a huge swing, but then Brighton last season at this point had 33 points, but now they have 49 points, and they will literally spank anybody that doesn't show up correct on the game they're playing them. So that is a 16-point swing. Brentford has 30 points last season at this point. This season they have 43 points, 13-point swing. And if you're not careful, they will beat you, anybody, including City, the best team in the league. United had 50 points last season at this point. This season they have 59 points, 9-point swing. Despite how bad their difference is, goal difference, they are still winning games that I don't think they should be winning. But who cares? You get your points, right? Newcastle last season was 34 points. This season they are 56 points and fighting for top 4. That's an additional team that you have to get over to get to Champions League. That is a 12-point swing. Villa was on 37 points this time last season. This season they're on 50, 13-point swing. Fulham wasn't even in the league. It's the equivalent of someone getting relegated. And this point, they have 42 points. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new teams that you have to beat regularly in order to get anything. There's a time when Arsenal used to lose all the games against the big six and get top 4. You can't do that anymore. You just can't. Because now there's like 8 teams that will kill you and take your points. So,
but are you
Liverpool and Chelsea
counting?
got weak.
When you're saying now there are 8 teams that will beat you and take your points, are you counting those traditional big 4 that are no longer performing?
Yes, including, look, we just saw Liverpool tear apart Man U. We just saw Liverpool wake up from the dead against Arsenal, right? Chelsea, yes, they are having a bad season, but we all know they're just waiting for Arsenal to come, and then they will suddenly come back to life because that's what all they live for, right? Like, so all these teams on their day will take anybody. But then that's just how the world goes. Sometimes you lose games. Like when Arsenal fell off, it was sudden. They were good and then they just became irrelevant. Right? There is no like timeline on how bad you're going to get every season. Right? So this team got weak and that team got weak. That's not true. Like the whole Haaland is scoring goals because look, Haaland has only one skill and he's been practicing that skill his entire life. Shoot the ball as hard as possible into the net. City has only one weakness last season. There was nobody that would just kick the ball into the open net that they were always creating for you.
Sterling.
What did you think was going to happen when they bought the best striker in the world? Like, there was only one thing that will happen. So I don't know where this he's turning us. They literally bought the only thing they didn't have. That's it. City literally had the best team. So if you're telling me Bayern are bad, Bayern are not bad. They're just playing the best team in the world that has no weakness. That is all it is, right? So I don't think that this season is weak. I think it's literally one of the hardest seasons to do anything because literally you can't even draw a game. Like Arsenal drew 2 games recently. Like, they bottled the league. But we arrange the season anyhow you like. And they still have this point. And you'll be like, they're actually doing well. Because apart from this last draw, Arsenal and Man City basically have the exact same 7 wins, 1 draw. But suddenly, Arsenal is bottling, but City is on the up. Like, a lot of things are not making sense. Like, most of this, the league is weak, is from trying to diminish what Arsenal is doing, more or less, and taking it as because if it was, like, you just spoke about how Man U is doing well this season.
No.
That's what Kachi said. That's what Kachi, I'm just saying what Kachi said, Man U are doing better this season. Right?
They are doing better.
But not well.
Last season.
If they are doing better, that's cool. But you cannot take away the fact that the type of like where Arsenal is on the table is the type of thing that you do whether you're good. It doesn't matter how good or bad the entire league is, because they're on points. They're on track for 90 points. You don't fluke your way to 90 points. You're a good team. That's just what it is. Like, because that's what City do every single season, more or less. The only season they didn't do that was the season Liverpool won it. And nobody talks about the fact that, Liverpool won the season off here, or that it was COVID, or that City lost like half of their attack at some point. Nobody talks about that. It's like, Liverpool finally. It's not really mentioned from a.
So here's the thing. I agree with most of your points. Sorry to interrupt you guys. I agree with most of your points. Arsenal are definitely good. City are definitely good, like I said. But you mentioning those other teams that are coming, don't forget, if Liverpool, Chelsea, United are where they are supposed to be, in regular season, we still have West Ham, we have Leicester that usually come, we have everything, that Crystal Palace again, that always come and get points. So we have those things.
Look at them this season. Look at them.
You listed 5 teams.
There's just a replacement for, if Liverpool, Chelsea, United are where they are, then add West Ham, West Ham, Leicester, Everton.
I was forgetting Leicester, like normal Leicester.
That's already 16 plus the top 2 that are already there.
You can add Wolves to that too.
Again, there's just a replacement. No. Can you give me a second? There's just a replacement of those things. Because if you are telling me we would rather have Tottenham and Newcastle there instead of Liverpool and Chelsea gunning, I know who I'm picking. Because Liverpool and Chelsea gunning in that position is different. Again, I'm trying to give respect to these teams. I don't want to disrespect them, but Liverpool and Chelsea in that position is different.
From Spurs. It's different from Spurs and Newcastle. From Spurs chasing you, man. Like, you're never looking back. Spurs is chasing you.
So again, but I agree with you that Arsenal and City, they are good. Like, again, in any other league campaign, they will still be this good there, and they will still be putting above the point. But the rest of the team that you mentioned, there's just a set of teams that just replace them. And like, if you're asking me, I'd rather take Tottenham I would take
Brighton.
Tottenham
I
or
rather take
Newcastle
Brighton
and
and
other
Tottenham.
So
Yeah.
than Chelsea
in
and Liverpool being
in
on
that
their
what
thing.
all
So
you're saying is that you would rather take the reputation of the team.
It's not.
That's all it
It's not
is.
about reputation
It
no,
per
is,
se.
but
I'll
that is what
rather
it is.
I'll rather take the established player to do better in those situations than most of these
Okay,
newcomers.
let's
Because again,
be
will you
honest.
rather have
Brighton
will
today,
you rather take on form Salah or on form
but
Mina
that
or
Mitoma,
whatever
that
his name
Mitoma.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, who will you rather take to
that's not
face?
the
Like
comparison though. We're
no,
not talking about players. We're talking
no.
about
Again, all
teams.
I'm saying is that those big
The
teams I'm
Brighton
talking
that we
about,
have in the league today,
yeah,
the Brighton that we have in the league today, do you think that in any other season they won't be doing well? Or at least challenging for
they
what they're
won't be in
challenging
top
right now, which
six.
is
In
going to
any other
They won't
Europa?
be
season,
in
they won't
top
be in top
six.
six.
They won't be in top six any other season.
They won't be in
They
top six.
wouldn't, man. They
They will
wouldn't.
not be in
Relax.
top six.
Relax,
No,
relax.
no, but like no, but then see, this is the thing. When you're talking about it from a place of like I'm seeing someone chat that it's only when the best six are actually playing well that the league looks strong, but that's not true. Other
No,
teams
that's not the
like
argument.
12.
No, that's not the argument. All I'm saying is, will you take Liverpool, established player in Liverpool, like the players Liverpool have, when they are playing
And I'm
well, or
saying
you
it
take
doesn't matter.
established play well in Southampton playing well? Which one will you bet your
It
money on?
doesn't matter because
No, it
15
does
years
matter,
ago,
and that's
none
what.
of us cared about City. 15 years ago, none of us knew who City was. I didn't. Then money came and they were good. None of us care about Newcastle now. In 4 years, we all care about Newcastle. See, it goes in cycle. 1 year you're good, the next year you're out.
But I just said what.
That's just how
But
it
just, I
is.
think what Skip is saying is exactly if we can take a snippet of what we've seen this season.
There's no need.
Brentford and Fulham were far away clear from Liverpool. Go look at the table now.
And then, no,
Yeah,
but
that's what we're
they
saying. Go look at the table now.
improved. No, but like they improved to be like, see, this whole thing is like, you're thinking they just dropped them
the
there.
strong teams, once they are rolling, ain't no catching them. But these guys that are Fulham, Brentford, Brighton, they dip. And once they dip, you're clear of them. That's what we're trying to make you understand.
Okay, so wait, let's think about
Edosa,
it. Why is
quick
Fulham
question
different
before
now?
you go. Before I go, do you believe experience, ego? Do you think they actually matter in a game? Like, can you consider them like fine lines that determine result? Like your experience, your
Yes,
ego, your
obviously they
like
matter.
and that's just
The only reason why
and that's the argument. Like those players are in Liverpool, Chelsea, and all those things. If they're playing, they might play the worst possible game. Last minute, they will just score a goal. Brighton, if they don't play well, they probably won't score a goal last minute because they
They're
don't have
done.
those players. And that's just
okay,
the
but
argument
then
I'm saying.
but that can be said about any team. The only reason why Arsenal is what they are is because they managed to play like almost 25 perfect games, right?
Mhm.
And then
But
the
here's
rest
the
of
thing:
them
for
they've
you
been
to play
lucky.
25 perfect game, that means you're a good team. Brighton, even right now, cannot play 25
I'm not
perfect
saying
game.
they're not a good team. I'm saying that Brighton is on the up. That's all it is. Like everybody has their first season where they're good. Last year we were all talking. In fact, the very first podcast of it, you guys said Arsenal were going to be in top 4, and here they are trying to win the league. But
But
like
okay, quick
every
question.
team can
Edosa,
surprise.
do you think next season Brighton are going to be above Liverpool and Chelsea?
At Chelsea.
Do you really
I don't know
believe
if both, but at
if they're
least one
telling
of
you
them
to
will
put
finish
your
below.
money on it? Do you
At
think
least
Brighton are
one
going
of
to?
them will finish below Brighton. At least one of them will finish below Brighton next season. Do you know why? Because you're assuming that they fix. Look, what actually happened to Liverpool this season? What actually happened?
No,
Van Dijk got
Liverpool's zone
injured
again.
last
Here's the thing:
season,
you
Bro,
keep
and he's
saying
not the
what
same
happened to
player.
Liverpool and Chelsea this season. It's not just
no.
this season; it's the accumulation of the past 2 seasons. That's what you're saying now. For those two teams, is the accumulation of
Okay,
like
It's not even Van
decision
Dijk. These
making and all
guys
that.
lost.
That's what
They
happened this
lost.
season.
They lost Luis
oh
Diaz. They lost Luis Diaz and Jota, man. These guys had nobody in their attack.
no,
Go look at their
but
numbers before Diaz got injured.
no,
Go.
don't before Diaz got injured.
Mm-hmm.
we played them with Diaz.
He got
I
injured
was
in the
not worried
game.
about
He
them.
got injured in the game
I
against
understand.
you. Yeah.
I was not worried. Before he got it, he wasn't doing
He
anything.
assisted the goal.
Let's not talk like they
What
lost.
are you talking about?
Wait, let's not talk. Look, the goal was an offside goal, but that's a different conversation. We're not talking about Salah.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Salah here. We're not talking about Salah here. We're not even talking about prime money here. It's Diaz. It's
Diaz.
Diaz. Like, Diaz hasn't actually done like anywhere close to the level of this guy that the guy he was replacing.
Oh my goodness.
He hasn't. He joined in January last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He joined in January last season. He had a good half of a season, and then he played 5 or 6 games and got injured. That's all that happened. He's a good player. Nobody's saying that, but it's not like what really happened to them is that their defense can no longer keep people out because they can still score.
They got a lot of injuries, and Fabinho's form killed them. Their injuries and Fabinho's form killed them. That's what happened to them.
Do you know who else got injuries? Arsenal have played their first team 6 times this season.
Mm-hmm. And look what's happening with Saliba. Look what's happening with Saliba.
Injuries. No, yeah, but they've had injuries too. No, it's not an excuse because it's Liverpool, right? They signed in the last couple of years. They signed Jota, they signed Diaz, they signed Nunes. They had Salah already. They had Firmino. They're choosing not to use their own players. That is their own problem.
Three out of those 5 players you mentioned were injured when these guys were. Yeah. Jota.
Nunes gets injured here and there.
I'm not calling Nunes. Jota.
The only person that was a long-term injury was Diaz.
But we're going too much into Liverpool. But yeah, go on.
Okay, all I'm going to say is that if there were strong teams last season, right, this season their points have been redistributed across the board because ultimately it's only 2 teams, right? So you play them home and away, so 6 points, 12 points went missing, right? It's not enough for all these other teams to be doing well as they're doing. That's all I'm saying. They're like, all that really happened is some teams might have gotten 12 points you're not supposed to get. But there's too many teams that have made a leap forward that you have to actually say, like, look, okay, 2 teams are not as good as before, but there are actually more teams that can do you now. Well, that makes it a more competitive season.
But that's an interesting point because my own angle is the rest of the league outside of, let's say, the top 10 have been really poor. So when you're playing a team in the bottom 10, it's guaranteed. I have never seen a season where the relegation battle goes up to 12 by this time in the season. I don't remember when that has ever happened.
So what does that imply, though? That all the teams are close?
No, it implies that, look at the points tally. What do you mean they are close? The points tally means everybody from 12 downwards are close to relegation and they're not racking up enough points.
But that doesn't mean this season is bad season.
I want to ask the question, please. Okay. Let me ask the question, please. Traditionally, how many points do you need to get to be safe in the league?
40, most of the time.
40 points.
Most of the time.
How many games are left in the season? 7, 8 for some people, right? 7 or 8 for some people. They are literally, like, if Southampton win all 7 of their games, they get to 40 points.
They won't win all 7 of their games. That's the thing, right?
If they do, right? But then at the same time, if Leeds win 5 of their games, they get to 40 points. So there's too many teams that have racked up enough points in the season. And that's what makes it competitive. I'm not saying that it's the greatest season of all time. I'm saying that the league is more competitive because there are teams that are all kind of in the same stratosphere. Whether they are really good teams or they are poorer teams, because there will always be bad teams in the league. We had a season where a team was relegated by December, for crying out loud. That's how bad they were. And everybody was joking of collecting their 6 goals and going. And nobody said anything.
Yes, when we're talking 2 teams, that is fine. But when we're talking about eight teams, like, that is a different situation.
And when we're saying 8 teams, we're including Leicester, we're including Wolves, we're including Everton in this. These are the guys that normally mid-table that threaten you.
Everton almost got relegated last season. Wolves were threatening relegation last season. Leicester haven't been good for like 3 years. All these teams, it was coming to roost. It was always coming. It was
Even if it
always
was always
coming.
coming, it doesn't change the fact that
It's
that's the
here now,
reality
today.
of the
It's
season,
here
right?
this
It's
season.
now.
It's here this season.
Even if it was always coming, it doesn't change that reality, right? You might be right
Yeah, but
that
then
many
the
of these teams,
reality is also
Liverpool,
that a lot of teams came. Teams replaced them.
no one replaced them. That's the point. And the thing I also don't agree with is I don't think Arsenal would not be challenging for the title if it was any other season. I think Arsenal would still be, at the top of the table right now because they are actually playing that well.
Mhm.
They sacrificed all their European games. They are not playing in any cups. They sacrificed all the cups to focus on the league, right? But when you mentioned earlier that Arsenal is on track to get to 90 points, you are then you are then equating their achievement of those 90 points to other teams that made those 90 points as like it's the same thing. And it's not
That's not
like
what.
even
No, but that it's just
that's the only
projections.
thing
Like
that will make it a
projections don't
special
come
season.
true. No,
No,
but
but
it's a
that's the only thing that will
projection
make it
based on what you've done. No, like so. What I'm saying is that based on what the so why are we all saying City will win all their games for the rest of the season? Why is
because we've seen
everybody
them
saying
do
that?
it.
Because it's City.
No, because they're the best team in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
They beat everybody. That's all it is. All they have to do is lose or draw 2 games, and they are done. There's no league for them. The assumption, of course, is that Arsenal continue to play well. So you have to project at some point based on what teams have done already, right? You can also look. You can look at Southampton. The way you guys said they can't win 7 games between now and the end of the season, you're projecting because they very well can. They can win
Well,
7 games starting on Friday.
no, I do think so. It is all in the context of this season, right? We have seen Southampton this season. They are not winning those 7 games in a row. That one, if they do, anybody that bets on that is going to be a millionaire for sure. But having
They're
said
not
They've
that,
not
playing.
won up to 7 games this season.
having said that, it is possible for Arsenal to actually win all their remaining games. It's
They're
not
not going to
impossible.
win all the remaining
They
games.
are not
I
going
can tell
to,
you
but
that.
it is actually possible. Just the same way it's possible for City, it is also possible for Arsenal. Arsenal has been top of the league the whole season.
Mhm.
They have gone on
No,
Bro,
multiple
City,
game
I'm seeing,
winning
City
streaks. What do
was
you
there.
mean?
I'm actually seeing the importance of
City,
Saliba. Like, what the hell, man? I'm seeing the importance of Saliba.
City was top
No,
Holding,
it
for.
wasn't.
holding is
No,
a.
it's not. No, it wasn't. It's not down to Saliba. After the World Cup, Arsenal has progressively been giving up more chances
Yeah,
to
because of no
opponents.
Saliba.
When did he get
Because
injured?
of
Did he
no.
get injured right after the World Cup? No. Didn't he just get injured
No,
2 weeks
okay.
ago?
Okay, so we changed. No, but think about what happened in the World Cup. There was no Jesus, so you can't defend from the front anymore.
Mhm.
Then we lost Tomiyasu for a bit. Then he came back and got injured again. Then we lost KT for a bit. He got there. So like a lot of teams, Partey was injured at some point in the middle of that. So like I'm not even going to use injuries as an excuse because they've achieved what I want them to achieve this season. Everything else is just honest and truly. All this like it's not my business. But the thing is that the seasons that people have won the league over City. Why am I speaking English? I don't have sense today. The teams that have won the league over City have needed perfection. Like all their players were fit, everything went their way. That's not what's going. That's not what's happening for Arsenal. So you can already see where it's going to end. The last game of the season, they'll give Arsenal some stupid hope, and then they'll kill it. It is what it is. But why I push back on this fluke season is because it for me anyways, it means that people feel like Arsenal are going to go away next season.
So 2 things there.
And I know
One, it
that's
is
how
not.
you
So
feel.
one,
We'll
it is not
hurry up there
a
and catch
fluke.
your wrap up. Go on.
Yeah. So one, it is not a fluke. 2, Arsenal is still going to be a good team next season, but you will see the real Arsenal next season. That's what we're saying. Like all this, oh, we can get
No.
90 points. Arsenal, you're not going to see that next season. That's my
That's for
point.
damn sure.
Why?
You'll see now. Don't worry.
Kachi, then Kachi wrap up. Sorry, Skip, then Kachi wrap up. You're muted.
What was the question? Because I thought I've already said what I wanted to say about the cup.
Has your opinion changed based on our discussion? And do you think that Arsenal can make 90 points next season?
Next. To be honest, do you know what's scaring
Remember,
me
they're
about
going to
next
be in
season?
Europe. Remember, they're going to be in
Yeah,
Europe.
do you know what's scaring me about next season is that like most of these teams, even the
these formerly bad teams that are now average teams. They too, they want to get better. Then the good teams that became bad this season, they will want to get. So I just have a feeling like it's going to be battle royal next season. Like there's going to be like 6 teams just knocking it, fighting for it, and that's what scares me the most. So I just want to see what everyone is going to do in the window, and if everybody is going to like fix major problems that they have and like back and all that. Because Arsenal bench need to be stronger if they're going to play in Champions League next season, right? That's something they would need. So like if they can do that, then but like it's possible for them to reach 90 points again next season. So it's possible if they strengthen their bench, like it is possible. So like it is possible. I won't sit here and be like, oh, it's not possible.
Next
but
season,
if they
we are
go,
not starting Weghorst the goats. There ain't no way. there ain't no way. Anybody's reaching 90. But it's okay.
So then, who are you guys signing? Who have you guys signed that it's
doesn't
not
matter
possible
who.
that you won't be starting with him next season?
Weghorst is not going to be on our team next season. He's alone, right? We'll return him to wherever he came from. Yeah. We'll return him to Turkey, man. Like, what's going on here? Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see what happens next season. So far, I believe I have the most accurate predictions with Haaland being the player of the year, Man City winning the Champions League, Man City winning the Premier League, Haaland being the highest goal scorer as well. I'm just killing it. It's just the knowledge, but it's okay. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. As always, continue to love football. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. And like I said, always continue to love football. Bye-bye.